Okay. All right, I'm recording.
Yep.
So, your first question was, why is there also people who claim other types of diets have helped them that are opposite to yours? So
Yeah.
when you said opposite, what do you mean? Like, do you mean like keto or like paleo?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's keto people. I mean,
Yeah.
even the carnivore people. I mean,
The carnivore diet.
there's all kinds of shit, and I just feel like it's really. I feel like you can find success stories with every kind of weird diet. So it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah. I mean, that's one question basically.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I understand. So I don't know if you saw some of my other videos with my story, but actually uh s- when I first got depersonalization, I was 14 years old. And I was trying to find ways to basically get rid of it because I felt like shit. I felt really bad.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I did was at first I didn't do anything because I didn't want to tell my parents that I had smoked weed and then got depersonalization.
Yeah.
And then we went to a psychiatrist, and then the psychiatrist tried to like uh, have me read a book about anxiety and do breathing exercises to try to calm me down. But I tried it for I think maybe 2, 3 weeks, and it didn't work for me. So then he
Mm.
prescribed me medication. He gave me a SSRI, which is called Citalopram. It's
That's the one
anti-anxiety.
I'm taking.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
I
And
can.
it works a little bit, right? Like it makes your anxiety go down, but it doesn't
Yeah,
cure
I
you.
mean, yeah, I mean, I've tried basically 100 different, literally, no, not 100, but 50 different meds or something.
Yeah.
Um,
How did you
it's
feel
not.
on how did you feel on them?
Well, the
What
only thing
happened?
that really calms, like because explaining my whole story is too much, but I have like also obsession issues.
Yeah.
So I took it's called escitalopram, which is Lexapro, I think, in
Okay.
America,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is the only one that sort of, I guess, help with the obsession, but not really with the anxiety. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to, reduce anxiety, then I have to take a benzo, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So so the
Xanax or whatever.
Citalopram, how is the Citalopram working for you now?
I don't know. I've tapered
Uh,
down to such a low dose. I don't even know if it's because I've been on it for 2 years, something.
okay.
I don't even know if it's doing anything anymore, but I feel
Yeah.
like I'm staying on 5 milligram. It's nothing, but
Okay.
whatever. I don't
Okay.
have any side effects, so
Yeah, when I first took Citalopram, it was my first medication I ever took, and so for me it did help a little bit. My anxiety was like at a 10, and then
yeah,
Citalopram maybe took it down to like 7. But I still had depersonalization.
yeah, yeah,
So I took Citalopram. I think maybe I don't know, maybe 6 to 12 months, somewhere around 6 to 12 months, and then I couldn't get an erection when I was trying to have sex. I couldn't. There was a lot of
yeah.
bad side effects for me. So I
I've had
stopped.
that with
And I
other SSRIs. Yeah,
yeah, and I had like felt like a zombie, just like not fully focused in life, and so I stopped taking it. I had my doctor wean me off the medication, and then I still felt bad, so I was like, well, if medication's not going to work and breathing exercises and stuff aren't working, what else do I have, right? I didn't know what else to do, so I started to experiment with my diet. And at first I ate just the standard meals like what your mom would
mm,
make, right? And just like
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
spaghetti and whatever. But as I was eating those foods, I read online that you can eat blueberries is good for your brain, walnuts is good for your brain, omega-3 supplements good for your brain. So I was eating normal diet, but I was eating those foods as snacks and taking supplements, and it didn't work. And so then I kept researching online, and online it said that paleo. Do you know about paleo? Paleo
yeah,
diet?
sort of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw people on
Caveman.
forums. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I saw people on forums and Facebook groups saying paleo really helped my anxiety and depression. And so I was like, okay, well that goes with depersonalization. So I tried it,
yeah,
and it didn't work. So I did read the same stories as you, where you read stories online that say, this worked for me, and so I tried
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It didn't work for me. And then after that, I was probably older in high school now, so I was probably around 18, and then I went to college. And in college, we really have very little control over your diet. So I was eating everything.
Mm.
And then while I was in college, I was doing very poorly because of my anxiety and depression and stuff. And I wasn't focused in school. And so I actually ended up coming back home and going to my local community college. And since I was back home, I had more control over my diet. And I finally went, that's when I went vegan. I did not want to go vegan.
Mm.
I'm Mexican, so we eat a lot of tacos, we eat a lot of food,
Yeah.
a lot of meat, lots of meat. So I went vegan, and at first my mom thought I was gonna get sick, and but I had read a lot of research online, and same thing. I saw people on forums say that them going vegan helped them with anxiety and depression. So I was like, I mean, let's try it. What's the worst that could happen?
Mm.
So I tried it, and that's when I first start to feel relief with my symptoms.
Okay.
I wasn't cured, but I felt relief, and that was the first time. And I was like, wow, I finally found something that's kind of helping me. That's when I was 21 years old. So I got it when I was
Mm.
14, and then 21. So 7 years of research and
Yeah.
trying. And then I found something that worked, and then I found someone else on YouTube that said eat vegan, but incorporate a lot of sugar and a lot of white rice and like pasta in your diet. A lot of carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I mean, if vegan is helping, and then he made a video about that he tried doing this, like eating a lot of carbohydrates and no oil and being vegan, and then he cured his suicidal depression. And so I said, okay, let me try it, and I tried it. And after doing that, I cured my DP. I would say probably 2 or 3 months into that diet, I
Okay.
cured it,
Yeah,
and
it's pretty.
I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I was
It
probably
sounds
20.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 21 or 22 at the time, and I do high carb vegan for maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years, until I finally see that like, hey, I'm not getting depersonalization back. Like my symptoms never came back; they were gone, because I was doing the diet and taking care of my sleep and my hydration, my water. And so after 2 or 3 years, that's when I put my page up, because I don't want to put information out
Yeah.
if it's not truthful, you know. That's the kind of person that I am. So yeah, that's what I got from that. Another thing I wanted to say too is I'm part of a lot of depersonalization Facebook groups where people,
Yeah. Me
go
too.
in
Yeah.
there and talk about it. There was one person I saw that went keto and said that, because I was putting in there that, hey, you guys should try going high carb vegan, and a lot of people are like, fuck you, I hate vegan. So
Mm.
I was like, okay, whatever, obviously everybody's kind of like that. And so and then this guy that was there, he was an overweight guy, very inflamed, very red face. And he said, sugar makes me feel horrible. I'm going keto. And I thought, well, I was like, well, maybe keto works too. But then I come back to the group maybe 3 or 4 months later, and he's still there, complaining about symptoms. So I was like, well, that means keto probably doesn't work. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. I mean, we're like talking about single, individuals here. So
yep,
it's kind of hard. I always get the. I mean, it's like anecdote is always like a little bit
yep,
sketchy. Yeah,
of
and then
course, yeah,
but also like I think just maybe people respond to just in general respond differently to different diets. Like I can have a hard time imagining that every person on the planet has the perfect biology for one particular diet. Like I
right,
would assume that there's some sort of variance there, that some people
yeah.
maybe are do better with one type of diet while others maybe do better with a different type of diet, at least to some degree. But I don't know. I'm no nutrition is really complicated, and I'm no
Yeah.
expert either. But
I've also wondered the same thing as you.
yeah.
One thing that is kind of breaking that barrier for me is Michael. He's doing it, and he's Polish. So I'm Hispanic. I'm Colombian Mexican, so Latino.
Mm.
Um, so that's my genetic background, my ethnicity, and it works for me. And Michael's doing it. He says he's feeling better, and he's Polish, so he's a
Okay.
European. And I also have
But he
worked
lives
with
in America, right?
me.
Michael. If we're
Michael
talking
lives
about
in, yeah,
okay,
Michael
and we're
lives in America.
talking about the same Michael. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Michael lives in
Yeah.
America. Yeah, yeah, he lives
Okay.
in Connecticut. In Connecticut.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have another friend that I helped, and he's cured, and he's Nigerian. So he's from
Mhm.
Africa, right? So very different ethnic background
Yeah,
from all over the world, and it seems to help
yeah,
different races of human, black, white, brown. Um,
yeah,
so I'm starting to see kind of like a connection. I kind of also like to compare it to cats. House cats have to eat protein and fat. They have to eat flesh. They have to eat like fish or some
mm,
kind of flesh food, right? House cat. And same
yeah,
thing goes for a lion. They have to eat flesh. Same thing goes for tiger, bobcat, cougar. They all have to eat flesh. If you feed a feline, a cat, too many carbohydrates like rice and pasta and things like this, cats also get diabetes and bad things with their health. So I feel like every species of animal
mm,
has their certain macronutrients, have their certain diet that they need to eat to be
yeah.
able to be healthy, right? And I
I mean
believe
yeah,
the human diet is a high carb, low fat diet.
yeah. I mean
Yeah,
that's like a really the whole nutrition thing. It's so complicated. You have
yeah,
people like it's a really controversy. Like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
the carnivore idiots, and then there's the radical vegan idiots. It's sort of and
yeah,
there seem to be carnivores who are doing perfect. There
yeah,
are those people, but there are also vegans who do perfect. So it's
yeah,
I mean, I have a hard time making any black or white statements. What diet is perfect in general, but
yeah,
I'm sure that yeah, it works for you clearly. So and it works for
yeah,
other people. What are you doing?
yeah,
So, but one thing that I just is sort of a you know just the whole trying. Let's try this because why not try it? Because all the shit I've tried. I don't know about you, but or Mike. I've tried so much retarded shit. Like
yeah,
those glasses here are like $500 because some idiot on YouTube told me you have to get glasses to correct your heterophoria, which is when
yeah,
your
yeah,
eyeballs don't exactly line up perfectly, whatever. So
yeah,
okay, I have to get those glasses. Then I did I did so many different therapies. I have a fuck ton of supplements.
yeah,
It's like and this whole trying jumping from the next one thing to
yeah,
the other. Let's try this. Let's try that. It's kind of at a certain point you get you think like, okay, maybe is it really worth the stress trying
yeah,
something else entirely all over again,
yeah.
or do we have to sort of change your approach just by and get out of this trying stuff mentality, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
um
makes sense. That makes sense. I mean,
it's just
especially if I always get a little bit weary or suspicious if
yeah,
someone's trying to sell me something.
yeah, for
Like
sure,
it's like, oh, you have depersonalization. Here's my supplement. Buy my supplement. Oh, you have
yeah, for sure.
depersonalization. Buy my glasses that are $500. I always get a little
Yeah,
suspicious when people are trying to sell me something that's fucking expensive or something that I
yeah,
have to keep buying, like supplements. You know what I mean? I'm not selling shit, so I'm just trying to tell people like, hey, this is something that's worked for me, and it's
yeah,
worked
yeah,
for
for sure.
these other people too. So I would say like you guys should maybe like give it a shot and see what happens. Because if you don't do it, like let's say you stop trying, right? When did you get depersonalization? How old
Well,
were you?
okay, it's a long story. Well, I've got like basically I got just the derealization part of it. I got somewhere around age 7 or 9 gradually.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It came on gradually, but it wasn't that bad. But it was still there 24/7. I've had
What
it
what tri-
basically
what triggered you at 7 or 8 or
family
9?
trauma, family stress, like my
You
parents
know,
splitting up,
I
etc.
think I also got it when I was young too. When you're young, you don't know what's happening. You're just scared and you're just frightened. You don't really
Yeah,
know what it is. For me, I watched a really, really scary movie and I was like sick. I got like physically sick when I was younger. I was like, now that I look back on it, I think maybe I had symptoms of anxiety and depersonalization as a kid.
that's
So
really
so
common. Yeah.
you first got derealization when you were 7, 8, or
Yeah, I mean,
9.
and then but it stayed like it gradually came on, never left.
Ah, I see.
So it's pretty shitty. But I
When
mean, it
did
wasn't.
when did you
Yep,
know? When did you put a name
the
on
name.
the on what you felt?
16, 16.
That's when you found out I have derealization and depersonalization.
Yeah,
How old are you
I
now?
even 26.
26. Wow, bro, that's crazy. So you've had
It
it.
is.
So you've had it like with the name for 10 years, but you've probably had it
Yeah, for
longer
sure.
than that.
Yeah, for sure. But it's but up until like 4 years ago, it was compared to really severe DPDR, it was like really mild. So I
Yeah,
could just forget about it, whatever. It was just a sort of little, perceptual disturbance,
yeah,
mainly visually, but it wasn't anything really dramatic. Like it wasn't full blown DPDR. Really,
yeah.
it was just mild but constant. And then I had like a mental breakdown, which is a long story 4 years ago, and then it all got worse.
Mm.
So now
So
I'm,
you,
it's a lot worse than it used to
so
be.
you would
Still,
say that you've had severe DP for the past like 4 or 5 years.
yeah,
Four
only
years.
just DR really at this point. But basically now I'm in this, in the stress cycle that usually
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Like that's yeah, I'm basically in that kind of loop where I just can't seem to really calm down.
I
Kind of.
understand. I understand completely what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah,
because I understand 100%. I think a lot of people like if they end up watching this, they'll feel the same thing. They'll know what we're talking about, where they get stuck in a loop where they cannot. They have DP, severe anxiety, and DP for like 24/7 every
yeah,
day.
yeah.
When they wake up, when they go to sleep, it's all day, and it
And you
fucks up
hardly
their
get a
sleep.
break. You're
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
aware of it 24/7, thinking
yeah,
about it, and you don't really get any much relief. Like I'm glad if I have like a 2 hours where I can actually forget about it in a day, maybe.
yeah.
And so it's
Sucks.
yeah, it
Fucking sucks.
fucking sucks. It really
Yeah,
does. It really does.
it fucking sucks.
Yeah,
So, I mean, for people like you that have had it long term, I know. Okay, so when I used to go on the forums a lot, I would see people get rid of DP naturally. They wouldn't do anything different. Maybe
yeah,
just they would say, I go out with my friends and I try to eat healthier, and now I don't have it. I don't think that going vegan would really help those people. I think they can cure it, just by living life and being normal. I think this thing is for people that are severe, like really severe and have had it for years.
yeah.
So I would just say like because you were saying I should stop trying things, but then it's
Not
kind of
really, not
like
really.
yeah, like you
Don't
can't.
say that.
It's like almost that you can't because it's
Yeah, I
like
have
this.
to basically. I mean, at this point, I'm trying to because right now my goal is just to go back how it was before to a
Yeah,
mild, in the background DR, but I'm not, fairly calm and stuff.
yeah,
And there were things before that helped me a lot, like meditation, for example.
yeah, yeah.
And but I'm
Absolutely.
trying to get more to a better place first before I can even think about getting rid of it entirely.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to adjust things in my lifestyle and do, incorporate different things to, calm me down. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that diet can be a part of that. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
But
I would invite you to try it. And if
yeah,
you feel like you're having trouble kind of getting on it, because dude, when I first started it, it was very difficult because I was used to eating a lot of meat. And so
yeah,
doing it was very hard. Like I was like, what am I gonna cook? What am I gonna eat? I'm not trying to eat fucking salads all day. Like I'm trying to eat real fucking food. And so if you need any help with that, you can text me and stuff and we can go through it if you want to go ahead and try it.
mm.
So okay, let's go to the next question that you had.
Yeah. Just one quick thing. Like my only concern with this,
Yeah.
like I would go on it like in tomorrow. The only
Yeah.
thing is like, I'm lifting, and it's sort of if
Oh
I have
yeah.
to drop my protein to double digits, basically, that's my only concern because I would have to go on like a maintenance phase. I'm not gonna grow much with double digit protein,
Yeah.
and that's my only concern. Otherwise, I wouldn't
100%.
give a shit. I would stuff my
100%.
face with potatoes, whatever. I don't care. But I have
No,
to I
that
have to
that
see how. Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, it's gonna be like it's gonna take away from the like bodybuilding
yeah,
and
yeah, for sure.
yeah, so I understand that part for sure. Um But I mean, this would probably take if you were to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm doing it tomorrow. I would
Yeah,
tell you that there's gonna be a week or two where you're gonna adjust because you're not gonna know how to cook shit. You're not gonna know
sure.
what to eat. So that you have to go through that first. After those 2 weeks, though, when you finally learn, okay, I know I can cook this, this, and this, and I can have regular meals. Because the biggest thing that I see is a problem with people when they first do it is they don't get enough calories. And you know
Oh,
about calories because you work
I'm
out.
tracking
So
everything. Okay,
yeah, you're
yeah,
tracking everything. And when you don't track your calories, you actually don't even know how much you're eating. And so
Yeah.
what happens was a lot of people don't know anything about fitness. They don't know anything about tracking macros. And so when they first get on the diet, they undereat and they feel like shit.
Mm.
And I'm saying it's not the diet, bro. It's because you're not eating enough calories. And you know,
Yeah.
you probably cut weight. You've cut weight before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I
Yeah.
feel like
Bad.
shit. Yeah, I
It's
feel
not
bad.
exactly helping. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like shit. So you understand. And so the biggest thing is like when you first go on it, we have to make sure that we find your target calorie intake and we hit it every
Sure.
day. But once we get through that, once we get past those 2 weeks, I would say it would take 1 month from that point to start feeling better. For you to say it's worth to keep doing this, or just scrap it and say, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going back
Yeah.
to what I was eating before. And so that you don't lose the gains. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I can probably maintain for a month
Yeah.
easily
Yeah.
if I just, adjust my training and everything. So it would be the kind of an, investment, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm gonna do that if
Yeah.
I'm planning a maintenance phase anyways. Then
Yeah.
maybe I'll try it.
The biggest thing would be not to let your calories go down because you don't want to lose
No,
size, you know? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
also don't want to get fat, but maybe just a slight surplus or maintenance
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
sure.
Okay, cool. Then we can talk about that later. If the messages, if you decide to, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to
If
try
I have
this,
any questions.
we can
Yeah,
talk through all that stuff later. Let's keep going with the questions. The next question you had for me was, if serotonin is the main benefit, why do SSRIs usually do nothing for DPDR despite no side effects, like the 5 I've taken?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So we did talk about that a little bit. So I took, like I said, I took a SSRI and it did not cure my DP. It helped my anxiety a little, but my DP stayed the whole time that I took the medication. So you're saying why does the if serotonin is the main benefit, why do SSRIs usually do nothing? I don't know why SSRIs do not cure DP. I think it's because um it's kind of like medication can help, but medication is not magic, right? It's kind of like people that have diabetes or have heart disease.
yeah,
Diabetes and heart disease are caused by a lifestyle, right? It's your lifestyle that's causing those
sure.
problems. And it's kind of like the same thing. It's like the doctor will give you medication for heart disease and diabetes, but it's not going to cure you because the cause is your lifestyle. So if you want to cure those things, if you want to cure type 2 diabetes,
Yeah,
type 1 is genetic, so that one can't be cured. But type 2 diabetes and heart disease, they can be cured if you attack the cause, which is the lifestyle. Because people have done it where they change their lifestyle and then they don't need medication anymore, right?
yeah,
So I kind of um, relate it to those kind of things. It's like this is a pill that's going to help, but this is a pill. This like things like SSRIs are not going to cure you because
yeah. I
it's
mean,
not it's not attacking the root cause, if that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's probably also not. I mean, DPDR is not due to some one chemical. Like it's more. There's more to
Yeah.
it than that. And
Uh-huh.
probably also the diet isn't. If there's a benefit to the diet, then it's probably not just because serotonin. There's a lot of things, probably, but I don't know. But it's just that it's just this one chemical. It's just serotonin. It's just that it's a fuck ton of things that we don't understand, but but some things happen to work. So
You're a
yeah,
hundred. You're 100% right because when you change your diet, you know that it doesn't just change one thing. When you change your
yeah,
diet,
for
you're
sure.
you're you're changing like your entire chemical structure in your body. Like you're changing the amount of glucose in your blood. You're changing the amount of glucose that's circulating in the brain. Your muscle glycogen. You know how much
Yeah,
carbs are
sure.
going into the muscle changes. You change a lot of things when you change your diet.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's also it also works so well. Like the thing that I do works so well and so fast is because we're changing the three biggest impacts on the human body, which is sleep, about
Mm,
recovery and all that. Sleep, if you get enough sleep, it changes a lot of things. It changes a lot of neurochemicals, it changes a lot of hormones, it changes a lot of things. So we're attacking sleep, carbohydrates, and water hydration. So when we attack these three things, these are so important to the human body
mm,
that when we optimize them, like we make them as as good as we can possibly get them, then a lot of things start to change in the body. And that's why a lot of the people that I help get better very quickly, because we're attacking different things and it's changing a lot of things in the body. We're not just saying, oh, it's only serotonin, because obviously you're right, it doesn't work. That's why the medication doesn't work for a lot of people, because you're only doing one thing. So okay, cool. We got past that.
Also, like the sleep thing, like I'm sleeping surprisingly well. Like even when I was like, I was like in the psych ward, like 4 years ago, I spent like 2 months even in the mental hospital because it's really bad.
Yeah.
But even then, I would sleep like 10 hours just like a rock because I was so exhausted from the day.
Yeah.
And even so, I'm glad, I'm lucky that my sleep is pretty good. It's just that I sleep to a bad time. I tend to go to bed really late.
Yeah.
So that's something I have to fix, because getting up at like 2, p.m. is not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like shit.
100%. I used to do that. A lot too. But I
Yeah.
want to ask you a question about that, because when my DP was very bad when I was younger, when I had very, very bad depersonalization, I would sleep. So I could sleep 8 hours, but when I woke up, I felt like I didn't sleep.
Yeah, that's common.
You get that?
Not really, actually. I feel fairly, recovered, I would say.
Okay, that's good.
But I hear that from a lot of people that they, don't get quality sleep, so they feel exhausted after waking up. Or some people even have like sleep apnea, which fucks with their sleep big time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I get pretty restful sleep, I would say, usually. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I can even train, because the amount of stress I'm under is not exactly conducive to gaining muscle.
Right.
But my sleep is pretty well, so I think that's sort of helping. So yeah, whatever.
Okay. Next question was serotonin. No, sorry. Why did diet play zero role for most people who recovered? Can you expand on that question a little bit? What do you mean?
I kind of it's just, well, from what I understand, the diet you recommend, it's just one big basically one big switch you can turn that reduces your stress levels and sets you up for better overall recovery. That's how what I get from it. But there's probably other ways to reduce your stress.
Yep.
But maybe those are a lot harder to get to. Maybe maybe the diet is just the easiest one. So that's how I would answer this question. If I were you, because that makes sense, kind of.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who get over it without diet.
Yeah.
Which is probably because there's a lot of ways to reduce your stress levels, not just diet.
Yeah.
But maybe diet is a really effective one. I don't know.
Yeah. I get what you mean. When I read this question the first time, I was thinking of, the people that I've seen in the forums, in like DP forums, that say that don't have it for a long period of time. There's a lot of people in the forums that get cured and they don't change their diet. Like we were talking before, they kind of like they say they have it, and then they say the way that I cured myself is I would just live my life. That's what they always say. They say I go out with my friends more. I try to eat a little bit healthier, and I just try to keep my mind off of it, and then I cured myself. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's like the mild transient version of it that people. Yeah, that's really common.
Yeah, so those people, I think, and you're saying, why did they get cured, and how come like people like us don't get cured, right? Kind of like that.
Basically, it's not just those people. I've read I've read in stupid amounts of. As probably most people who get DP, they obsess and they read everything they can get their hands on. So I've read like DP, DP self-help. I've read probably every recovery story on there, and watched a ton of videos on YouTube. There's a lot of people who had it like 20 years or 40. There's a woman who has had it 43 years severely. Wow. And she overcame it, and basically diet is never really a big problem, even mentioned, even with those people a lot of the time. So, how did
that lady specifically? How did she cure it? Did she say how? Or she just said,
she was like with a special, DPDR therapist. There's like online therapists who specialize on the thing, because we're not even talking about all the psychological, aspects of it, which can play a big role for some people. Not for everyone, but when for her there were psychological issues that once she resolved those, she overcame the dissociation stuff. So I mean, there's so many different. I mean, it's crazy the variety of stories. Like there are like some guy took some nasal spray and whatever, and suddenly he was cured. Some other guy hit his head and suddenly something cracked in his neck, and all of a sudden he was clear on his head again. And then there's all this. I mean, it's crazy how people get over it, how people get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, my theory is just that DPDR is just is a stress response, but the stressor can be like anything really.
Yeah.
So people can, and what keeps the stress going can also be anything. It can be physical, it can be psychological, it can be whatever. So that's why there's such a variety of different causes and also cures. I mean, that's what I've observed at least.
I agree with you.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. I agree with you. It's like there's so many stresses that exactly what you said, where you said that your theory is that DP comes from basically too much stress in your life, and as you start to eliminate those stresses, your symptoms get better. And if you can get under this certain level, then the symptoms go away. And you're right. You're 100% right. The problem, the reason that I like to talk about these three things, the sleep, the carbs, and the water, is because there's stresses that everyone deals with.
Yeah.
And if we can attack them, then a lot of the times the DP goes away. The other way is what you said with like the 43-year-old woman or the older woman who had DP for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's like it sucks because it's like such an accident. It's like how long am I gonna wait before I get my lottery ticket? You know what I mean? Like how long am I gonna wait until something happens where I hit my head some way and then I'm cured? It's like,
I mean, that's someone else who had like something with this.
It feels like you have no control, like it feels like
I mean you have to. Yeah, I mean it's complicated. I mean you basically. I mean for those it wasn't like just an accident for her. There were some specific psychological dynamics going on that she wasn't aware of. That once someone pointed out to her and she had some processed some stuff, whatever, then she got out of it. Yeah. And I mean that's how it works. I guess for some people, I mean this whole topic is so complicated, but I guess for some people it's just like they're getting overwhelmed through too much stress, and then they're getting stuck there because of the whole anxiety and obsession, and DPDR develops its own kind of dynamic on the loop we're talking about.
Yeah.
But then there's also some other people who are like habitually like repressing aspects of themselves, or have some complicated psychological stuff going on, that if you don't dissolve it, then it's hard to get, eliminate the root cause of it. So and then there's even people who have like physical things that cause stress, like spinal problems, or even nose and ear issues can cause. I mean, there's so many things that can cause DPDR. But but I mean, in any case, reducing stress, however you go about it, is like important. So whatever.
I would argue, I kind of just want to put this out there. Obviously we don't know, but if for any reason that the lady that was 43 years old could have found me at like 25, like maybe she was 25, and let's say she was my girlfriend, and I kind of like not made her, but like I kind of like, because we're boyfriend and girlfriend, she would eat like me, right? I have a feeling and just a theory that it would have cured her, because what I see is that DP is like a bucket, or a cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all have traumatic experiences. Everyone, even the person that was born with the most beautiful parents and the most beautiful childhood, also have traumatic experiences, right? And so I like to say it's like a cup, right? And our trauma fills up the cup, and then our lifestyle fills up the cup. And then what happens with most people is like something traumatic, their cup is about to overflow, and then something traumatic happens. Sometimes they break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, or their family breaks up, or something traumatic, right? For me, it was weed.
Yeah.
And then it sends them, it sends them over the edge, and then now they're in the loop.
Yeah.
So if that lady has trauma, and I feel like I have trauma too, and you probably have trauma too.
Yeah.
But if we can do the diet and the sleep, then the cup goes down by half. So you can still have your trauma, and then the DP goes
Yeah.
away. You
Perhaps.
see what I'm
Perhaps.
saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
If it's
she probably didn't fix her lifestyle. Maybe she didn't fix her lifestyle, but she fixed the trauma, and so the cup went down by half.
yeah.
So it could be
So
like, yeah, there's like different ways to attack it. And I feel like diet and sleep is easier because you don't need to find the perfect therapist,
yeah,
because
it's
DP therapists are rare, very
yeah,
rare.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they're expensive if you find them. They're very
I'm actually
expensive.
working with one, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Uh,
awesome. That's awesome
yeah.
because they're hard to find for most people.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you basically have to work online with people because
Yeah,
I mean, I've been through probably 7, 8 different therapies over the years. So
yeah. It's
just
hard.
and most are. I mean, I've kind of lost faith in most therapies. It's kind of bullshit,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, I
And
agree with
and
you.
and that's coming from a psychology student. So like I'm actually going to uni for psychology. Uh,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
almost done with my bachelor, so
I agree. And
uh,
for the more and more I do this and put information online, the more and more I realize that there are people out there who are not as fortunate as me and you, who can find therapists, and they're poor, very, very poor.
yeah,
And they still deal with it. So it's just different ways there's different ways that we can attack it. And I'm
sure.
starting to see that too. So okay, let's go with the last question. I don't want to take up too much of your time. The
Sure.
last one is I am getting the sense you're oversimplifying the situation a bit and generalizing based on your experience. Okay. So yeah, well, I guess we talked about that too. Is I'm not trying to oversimplify. I think with the metaphor of the cup, I think I kind of explained
Yeah,
my theory on it is there's a lot of ways to attack it. And I think therapy and resolving trauma will definitely help people. I just think it's harder to obtain. It's
for
harder to
sure,
get,
for sure.
you know. Like you
I
said, you
mean,
went through 7 therapists before you found one that is kind of helping you.
yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sort of, yeah, exactly, sort
yeah,
of. So
yeah.
I just think that this one is just like anybody around any part of the world, even if you're dirt poor, you can still do this. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
the cheapest food in the world is carbohydrates. It's beans, it's rice, it's fucking corn, tortillas. It's the cheapest food any part of the world. If you're in Asia, you eat rice. If you're
Yeah.
in Nigeria, you eat cornmeal. Grinded up corn or potato. All this food is cheap as fuck. It's the cheapest food. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
the only thing is like if it actually reduces your, I mean, for you it definitely did. If it
yeah,
really reduces your stress levels by that much, then it's a no-brainer to do it.
right, yeah,
Just that I would have to try to see if it does the same for me.
yeah,
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know,
yeah,
but I might try it. Yeah.
yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I think that's everything. I mean, unless you have any other questions for me, then
Yeah.
I think this video is gonna help a lot of people, because I think that a lot of people have the same questions as you. There's probably a lot of
Yeah.
people on the internet that have the same question as you, because I know that when I first started and when I had DP, I had the same questions as you.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm trying diets, and other people get cured with no diet, and it was so confusing. It was so confusing because you're like, what's the truth? Because there's so many things online, you don't even know what the truth is. So
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. I call them like DPDR gurus, as just basically
yeah,
people who preach their particular methods.
yeah,
And I mean, there's many of them are really good, but I always feel like they're really focused on their particular approach that they've had success with. Like, I mean, there's even the how's he called, Jordan, whatever, anxiety ninja guy. I don't know if you know
yep.
him.
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried
And
his
he
stuff.
basically,
It didn't work
I
for
mean, he
me.
basically says like, relax your body, do PMR, like, and and
Yeah.
and focus your mind somewhere else, and then you're fine. It doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't really actually.
Dude, yeah, I know
But
exactly what you mean. I hated that advice when people said that online. They would be like, just think about something else. And I'm like, think about something else, bro. Like, I feel like shit all the time. Like, how do I stop thinking about it? Like,
yeah, and then also like just the progressive muscle relaxation, which is helpful, which is useful too, but it's not the end all be all. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. For some people say it's always meditation. For other people, it's this, it's that. So I feel like all of it's really individual.
yeah,
But yeah, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I would just say for the people that are out there too, that are watching this video and don't know what to do, I would just say, try all of it, bro. Like what else?
Yeah.
It's like what else is there to do? You know, it's like we have a life, we have one life, and
Yeah.
and we have to do our best to try not to live our life feeling like shit every day. Because I remember what that felt like, and that
Yeah.
shit sucked. It was the
Oh,
worst.
it's
It was
fucking
hell.
hell on earth,
It
dude.
was hell on earth. So I
It
think
is.
as people that deal with this stuff, we need to just try our best and just try everything, bro. And I would
Yeah.
say try everything and try the first things that you should try are the cheapest ones. Mine's free,
True.
so try mine, right? And if
True.
mine doesn't work for you, try the
Yeah.
next one, but that's not as expensive as like some people do. I've heard things that people are selling courses for DPDR for like $800.
Yeah. I mean, it's retarded. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I'm
people.
saying
Yeah.
like
It's.
maybe you may be able to try those later, but put that at the end of your list. You know, put those or like the $500 glasses, put those at the end of your list. You know, like
Yeah.
try everything on online that you think will work, but
Yeah. And also, like,
start
what
with the
I would.
cheapest ones.
One thing that I mentioned before is like try it, but like try it, incorporate different things at the same time in a logical way, and not just basically you're living, everything is fucked up and you try this supplement. Yeah, it's not gonna there's this one thing is not gonna help you unless you have sort of your, as you said, like your life, the lifestyle stuff in order. Your sleep is fine, you're not in a super stressful external environment, like kind of pill you take or whatever exercise you do, so
Yeah,
try stuff but incorporate it in a bigger picture that makes sense, so it reduce stress overall, and but not just jump to this and the next thing and hope that one thing whatever will cure everything at once. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
that's,
agree.
that's
I
sort of
agree
a
with you.
mindset that many people fall into. I find, like, I've tried everything, I've tried this, I've tried that. Yeah, but you haven't you haven't fixed, you don't see the forest for the trees, basically. You're
Yeah,
just focusing on minute details while you're
yeah.
ignoring everything, the big picture.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
like something.
I agree with you. I think the best thing to do is try to grab all the things that you read online that help and combine it. Like you said, just
Yeah,
try
just
them
make all
all.
adjustments where you can, just
Yeah,
tweak this, tweak that,
yeah,
whatever reduces stress in your life, basically.
yeah. I
What I
agree.
am trying to do, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think what I was saying when I said try all of it, I meant more like programs because
Yeah, for sure.
the programs are supposed to be like almost like a course that you take and teaches you everything. Like
Yeah.
I know like there was one guy, Harris
Oh,
Harrington.
I've done his stuff. So
Right,
yeah,
yeah. And I did
yeah.
it too. In
He's the
his
classic
pro
one. Yeah, old
when I
school.
said try everything, I meant like the programs. Because the
Yeah,
program will say like take these supplements, eat these
yeah,
kind of foods, do this. So that kind of
yeah.
combines it for you. It combines it
Yeah,
for you, you know. So that's what I meant by that. If you
yeah, for
don't have
sure.
enough money to pay for programs, then I would say do what you said, which is combine the meditation, combine the food, combine the sleep, combine all of it. Because there's some
Yeah,
people who can't buy these things because they're too expensive and they can't buy them. So for those
yeah,
people, I would say try everything that you read
yeah,
online and combine it. But for when I said try everything, I meant the program. So if you're gonna do
yeah, for sure.
programs, try my program. I'm gonna be an advocate for my program. I'm
Yeah,
biased
for
because it
sure,
works
for
for me,
sure,
right?
sure.
So try my program because my program is fucking free. And then if mine doesn't
True.
work, go do the next program that's $10, and then do the next
Yeah,
program that's 50, and then 100. But start with the
yeah,
cheapest one.
of course.
And yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. All right,
All
cool,
right.
man. I really appreciate you hopping on the call with me. I know we were on the call for a while, so I really
Yeah,
appreciate your time. And do I have permission from you to post this online? Because I think a lot of people could
yeah.
benefit.
You can post. It's fine.
Cool, man. All
Yeah.
right, cool, man. So we'll stay in touch, man. Have a good day.
Yep, for sure. You too.
All right,
Goodbye.
take care. Bye bye.